Welcome back to another Friday ranking video. Today, we will be looking at the 7 mainstream Plants vs Zombies titles and rank them from worst to best. If you want to suggest an idea for a future ranking video, let me know in the comment section below. Shoutouts to Hey Got This YT for leaving a suggestion on the previous ranking video. If you want to be shouted out or just hear your idea on a ranking list, then comment away. With that said, I'm going to be joined by Jack today, and let's get ranking.
Coming in at last place is Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville. This game was released on the 4th of September 2019 and is around 35 quid for the deluxe edition. For 35 quid, the game isn't really worth it. The first reason why we put it in last place is because they made bad decisions even before the release of the game. There was no marketing and advertising for the game, which means they probably didn't get enough players at the start of the game, not making it very popular in the beginning. And there was a lack of playtest, which became obvious when the game was released. For example, there was a glitch called the loud noise glitch. This is when your character will glitch out and then will produce very loud pop noise, which may shock you or scare you if you don't expect it. Another reason why we put this game last place is because the developers stopped updating their game very early on. The developers stopped updating their game on September the 29th, 2020, only 1 year into the game's release. One source quotes EA, the publishers for PopCap, never mentioned why they cancelled Battle for Neighborville, but I am guessing that it had something to do with not making enough profit as they would have liked. They also were apparently extremely since me and Luke. That doesn't make sense, hang on. They also were apparently extremely low and running out of budget over the course of updating the game. It has been years since me and Luke played this game and we didn't really like it. And personally, I didn't feel like it was Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare that much, as they changed the graphics like a lot from Garden Warfare and Garden Warfare 2. One review states it's bad, it took away the stickers packs and different variants of each character. While another review says, now I tried to be positive, I really do, but this game was such a letdown. From what I remember playing it, I didn't enjoy it at all. Very disappointed because I did pre-order this game and I was very excited to play it. PopCap really ran the franchise into dirt and it's upsetting to see it happen, one review states.
So Plants vs Zombies 3 is a game I still haven't gotten around to playing yet. How's the development going?
Plants vs Zombies 3 has been cancelled.
Considering this game hasn't technically been released yet, or maybe it never will, I'm reduced to working with research for this one, so do forgive me if any of the information I say on this entry relates to outdated information. From what I've gathered about Plants vs Zombies 3, this game is a huge step down from its vastly superior predecessors, and when I say a huge step, consider that a Grand Canyon-sized huge step, because this game takes everything in the wrong direction. Did you enjoy unlocking new plants and picking your lineup in each level? Too bad! Every level is now a locked and loaded level, meaning that your plants have all been pre-picked for you, and there are significantly less plants in this game anyway. Did you enjoy how each level pitted you up against different combinations of special zombies? Too bad! Plants vs Zombies 3 consists predominantly of basic zombies and imps, making each level super bland and really stale. Instant plants like the cherry bomb and jalapeno have now been reduced to power-ups, and if you think that PopCap stopped there with the cash grabs, you'd be wrong. Plants vs Zombies 3 commits the ultimate mobile gaming sin, incorporating the life system into their game. Yep, the life system. This heavily undermines PvZ3, considering that the Plants vs Zombies games are based on trial and error, as you find the ideal strategies to take down tricky groups of zombies. Oh wait, there aren't any. I don't understand the logic of stopping people from playing your game. This just makes people want to go play something else. And with how short and boring the levels are, I wouldn't blame them. Oh, did I forget to mention the level lengths? Yeah, the level lengths are extremely short and lacking too. And lastly, the artwork looks awful. Like, what the hell is this? While there are some positive aspects in this game, like the story, there is an overwhelming amount of negative to counterweight it all. So, all things considered, Plants vs Zombies 3 deserves to be left in 6th place. Why fight a traditional way when you can resort to fighting with cards? So Plants vs Zombies Heroes is essentially a game about collecting cards and using them to strategically defeat your opponent's deck. Naturally, as the game progresses, you'll gain access to a bigger variety of plants, but in turn, the zombies will increase in versatility too. Another neat feature this game has is its character art, turning beloved characters like the pea shooter and sunflower into superheroes. With its comic book-like appearance, it really makes me wish we could have seen a fully developed comic book series of these characters, or even a cartoon show spin-off. Yes, I know PvZ comics are a thing, but it's just not the same. Anyway, why did this game only get ranked at number 5? Truthfully, I'm really not a fan of this genre of gaming, and yes, I know it's going to make my list biased, but turn-based fighting games really aren't my style. I also heard at one point that PopCap were becoming greedy by increasing the rarity of certain characters, so you would have to spend more money to unlock the characters you really wanted. As a result, players with legendary, super rare, or event cards would dominate, leaving newer players in the dust, which really isn't all that fun of a multiplayer experience. And speaking of multiplayer experience, this game suffers badly from lack of updates. Just like Garden Warfare 2, events start to get repeated instead of new content being added to the game. Another issue that players have raised is that Plants vs Zombies Heroes kept crashing too. It's not my cup of tea, but it did the job well back in the day and was loved by the community. It's time to travel back in time as we move on to Plants vs Zombies 2. From ancient Egypt to the Wild West, Plants vs Zombies 2 offers a fun experience as you unlock a massive roster of plants, battling against different groups of zombies across the time periods. As a lot of you may know, this is the game that probably brought a lot of new viewers to my channel, thanks to the level packs I created. One of the best parts about PvZ 2 is that each era completely switches up the gameplay. In Big Wave Beach, you're dealing with the tide washing away your plants unless you use lily pads. On Frostbite Caves, you're encouraged to use fire plants to stop your plants from freezing, and Neon Mixtape 2 straight up has zombies jamming to the music. Oh, f*** up! There's even a wide variety of objectives, like defending endangered plants to sun limits, to keep the gameplay interesting too. With all these great gameplay elements, the question now comes, why is Plants vs Zombies 2 ranked 4th? Well, the thing is, pretty much everything I just mentioned is in the past now. In other words, it's been 7 years since a new world was added, and as such, the game has taken a big fall from grace. Where the game really started to fall apart, in my opinion, was Jurassic Marsh, as this was just a really boring world to play through, hardly any special zombies, no memorable minigames, pretty underwhelming music, and then Modern Day came around as the biggest disappointment of them all. For the game's supposed finale, this world was a huge letdown in hindsight. They could have incorporated the different areas of the first game, like night, pool, fog, and roof, but they didn't. They could have brought back a large roster of minigames beside Begoods. They didn't. They could have gone all out, bringing more than just 3 classic zombies. They didn't. They could have actually provided some decent plants, considering this is the finale. Again, they didn't. And what about Dr. Zomboss? Is there a fun final fight that nicely wraps up the story? No, there isn't. Like, they couldn't even be bothered to create a new Zomboss mech. Instead, they just ripped off the one from Far Future. I don't get how you can screw up a finale this bad. This is the moment that so many players were waiting for. But I think we can all agree Plants vs Zombies 2's biggest screw up is the leveling up system, which essentially ruins all strategy in the game as your plants become more and more OP. Not only does this heavily undermine the gameplay, but this was a huge cash grab move from EA. All things considered though, I still enjoy parts of this game, like the pinata parties are always something to look forward to every day. And again, making levels on PvZ2 was extremely fun, and I'm glad I had the chance to make people happy with my levels. The original Plants vs Zombies game is one of the most memorable entries out there in mobile gaming history. It's a simple yet addictive tower defense game about defending your house with different plants to fight off waves of zombies. With the original story containing 50 levels across the different worlds, Plants vs Zombies also offered 25 unique minigames, a puzzle mode, and then survival mode for the more advanced players. Despite having a lot less levels than Plants vs Zombies 2, this game carries the quality over quantity edge, as every level feels different to each other, compared to PvZ2 where you'll find a lot of levels feel kind of samey. Additionally, I much prefer PvZ1's Zen Garden, as this is the place where you can grow and unlock every plant in the game. PvZ1 also has the Tree of Wisdom to give you bonus tips and tricks. Seriously, these extra touches make all the difference. Sure, there's not much to it in 2023, but that does not mean that this game was not fun to play when it was in its prime. But with how perfect this game is, there are still 2 games that we've agreed are better than this one. Wait, what's that? This is my last entry of the video. Alright then.
Taking the second place spot is Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 1, or just Garden Warfare. This game was released on the 25th of February 2014. PopCap also introduced multiplayer to the 3D, online and local multiplayer, and introduced Garden Ops, which was essentially the zombies coming to attack you and you have to stop them eating your garden. You can use pea shooters abilities, which were the chili bean bomb, which was essentially a bomb used to kill multiple zombies, Gatling pea, which was basically a machine gun, and a hyper ability where the pea shooter can travel really fast to get out of combat. While in the character selection, you can select different kind of pea shooters or different kind of foot soldiers, and this applies for any kind of plant and any kind of soldier. To unlock certain characters, you would have to complete certain challenges to gain coins and level up. This game was really fun and one of my favourite childhood games. It was a competitive game with you fighting the other team with your teammates and friends, and overall having a good time. There were also voice chats where you could also communicate with your teammates, although they were mostly little kids just shouting down the mic.
Someone is saying something, and I don't know what it is. Oh, come on, don't say that.
There was also a leaderboard that showed who was the best killer, who had the best kill streak, who had the first kill of the match, and etc. Genuinely a really good game, as there was always something to go on. That sounds mad.
How do I mute?
Genuinely a really good game, as there was always something to go do. No.
Jesus Christ.
Genuinely a really good game, as there was something always to do and it never got boring. The ratings are quite high at the moment, with IGN giving it a 7.8 out of 10, Common Sense Media giving it a 4 out of 5, and Open Critic giving it a 78% or a 7.8 out of 10. One review says, having attained max rank years ago, I decided to give this game another try again recently on an alternative account, and man, this game is so freaking fun.
Watch your profanity.
Overall, definitely worth $20, but the lobbies are kind of dead on PC sadly, even though this game is probably one of the most underrated gems. The problem with Garden Warfare 1 now is basically dead and no one really plays it anymore, and that is why you never really see full lobbies anymore. Taking the gold award for first place is Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2. This game was released on the 23rd of February 2016. The game is very similar to Garden Warfare 1, with 24 people in each lobby, Garden Ops still being available and having different game modes, which I forgot to mention in Garden Warfare 1. Although Garden Warfare 2 had added more game modes such as a zombie version of Garden Ops, Graveyard Ops, and a Herbal Assault, which is basically plants attacking the zombies and the zombies have to defend. The developers also introduced a new unlockable game mode called Infinity Time, which you can also get by finishing all the quests for either the plants or the zombies. There are an infinite amount of waves and you have to collect these crystals. The more crystals you get and the longer you survive, the better rewards you will unlock at the end. PopCap also introduced new characters into the game, such as the Citron, the Rose, the Corn, the Imp, the Pirate, and the Super Brains, all coming with new and awesome abilities and cosmetics to unlock. There is also a lobby which you can hang out now with your mates and invite your mates along, called the Backyard Battleground, where the zombies have a base on one side and the plants have a base on the other side, and you could just start a war by entering the other opponent's base. In the middle of the Backyard Battleground is the Capture the Flag, which is essentially Garden Ops, it's just in the lobby. In the Backyard Battleground there is also a town hall where PopCap would host various events in the online multiplayer world. This would also consist of different game modes and different maps. PopCap did introduce new maps to the game, such as Moonbase Z, Great White North, Time Park. The graphics in this game also significantly improved from Garden Warfare 1, so the ratings for this game is very high, with IGN rating it at 8.2 out of 10, 4 out of 10 on Common Sense Media, and Steam giving it a 9 out of 10. Me and Luke genuinely think this is a great game. We used to play it a lot and we never really got bored of it, only when it started to die. But even then, the community is pretty much still alive to this day, with people still making content on it. Amazing game, 9 out of 10, great rounded characters overall compared to games like Apex, Warzone and Fortnite. So bro said this game is better than Apex, Warzone and Fortnite. How do you feel about that, Apex and Warzone Fortnite players? Yeah, f*** you. I'm joking.